What's going on, guys? So this is a follow-up video to a video I made last week titled, Am I Bipolar? Over the years that I've had this channel, a few people have reached out to me and suggested that I might be bipolar, and I was seeing my primary care doc, and she thought it was a possibility. Not that I was bipolar 1, but that I might be bipolar 2. And with that possibility of a new diagnosis, trying to explain the rapid cycling of my mood, I decided I wanted to see my old psychiatrist, Dr. Powers, someone who really did play an instrumental role in getting me out of the worst parts of my condition back in 2011, 2012. I had not seen him for a long time, nor had I had someone who was specifically a mental health provider in my corner, so to speak. And so I really did want to touch base with him, because if I am bipolar 2, or I was thinking to myself if I am last week, there should probably be some sort of pharmaceutical intervention for me. You know, one of the aspects of treating bipolar, or one of the ways you can treat bipolar, is to take lithium. There are many other things you can take, but lithium is one of the classic for bipolar 1, and it was also indicated for bipolar 2 as a possibility. So I just came out of the psychiatrist appointment with Dr. Powers, again, a man who's had some history with me, and we chatted about that possibility. It was very, very important to me to touch base with him before starting the medication, because it's such a big step. It's such a big deal to introduce psych meds into your brain. I have a long, long history of being very sensitive to any medication, a lot of traumatic experiences in the past, and I didn't want to take it lightly, because I don't fully understand what I may be getting myself into. What I do know is that this last month and a half has been, unfortunately, very revealing that I still deal with pretty severe mood issues, even when I have stretches that make me feel like maybe I'm past that part of my life. So I just saw Dr. Powers, and to get right to the chase, he's not convinced I'm bipolar 2. He said, well, I do exhibit some of the symptoms, or a lot of the symptoms for the bottom end of it, the depressive symptoms. I don't exhibit enough of the manic symptoms, even the hypomanic symptoms, that would lead him to believe that was a good diagnosis for me. Now, one thing he did say is that lithium can be effective in treating suicidal thoughts, but he wasn't convinced it was the right road to take for me. Having seen me in the past and knowing my history, he knows that drug interventions, psychiatric medications, have actually been a pretty traumatic thing for me. And I'm very in tune with my body, is something he was recalling, and I was validating as well, that when I feel anything going on with my body, whether it be, when I feel anything going on with my body in terms of how I react to meds, my anxiety, my depersonalization, my depression, things get a lot worse for me. And he wasn't convinced it was a smart choice to try the lithium at this time. He wanted me to go a different route. Now, is he 100% certain that I'm not bipolar 2? Not yet. Not yet. We just saw each other for the first time in a couple of years. But from everything we chatted about in the 45 minutes we had together, he wasn't convinced, and his lack of conviction was enough to lead me to think I'm not ready to try any medications. I was scared to do so anyway, but I always want to be open to something that might be helpful to me long term. I was telling him in there, the biggest concern I have is getting burnt out on this fight. You know, I have stable days, stable weeks that are occasionally followed by very unstable or instable, whatever, stretches of time, whether it be a couple weeks to a couple months. And my fear is that long term I'm going to burn out, and I'm not going to have what it takes to stay in the good fight. A lot of people who commit suicide aren't necessarily the most severely depressed people anymore. Some of them are just thymics who they get worn out over time. And I don't want that to be me. And so I have to stay hyper vigilant in this whole process of maintaining my recovery, working towards getting better. Whatever the case may be, I need to stay active, because I don't want to be one of those sad stories. You know, we lose people, and I don't want to be one of them. So, anyway, that's that. And I think some of you who do follow this channel closely will be relieved to know that. You know, partially I am too. There's always that part of you that wonders, you know, if I did take said medication, said drug, could it be just this cure-all, you know? And my experience has been, even with things that have been beneficial, is I haven't found anything that's been a cure-all. And I try not to take my mind there, because I think it's sort of short-sighted. But part of me was like, if he does diagnose me bipolar 2 and lithium just makes this huge difference, how great would that be? But the other part of me is like, if lithium just makes things way, way worse, would I have the emotional, mental stamina to deal with that setback, you know? So I don't know. Point is, he had a clear thought process about it, and we're not gonna go there right now. So one thing he did want me to do, and this is really what came out of this visit that I was partially most excited to tell you guys, aside from the fact that he's not convinced I'm bipolar 2, is that he wants me to try curcumin for the treatment of major depression. He gave me this printout, and it's from the Journal of Affective Disorders, just talking about a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled study with curcumin, which is a derivative of turmeric, for the treatment of major depression. Now, he definitely thinks I still deal with atypical depression, and that these crashes in mood are concerning and something I need to take very serious. And so I'm going to be taking, I wrote it down and now I'm forgetting, but I think I'm going to be taking 1,000 milligrams of curcumin twice a day, 1,000 milligrams of curcumin twice a day. I'm going to read the study. He really wanted me to read it. I'm going to try to find the study and link it in the description below. And we're going to go ahead and start down that route, as well as start seeing each other more often. So I'm really grateful that he was willing to see me to begin with, because it's hard to find a good psych doc. And, you know, he's not one of those pill-pushing guys. He's very mindful of other avenues of treating mental illness. You know, he's a psychotherapist, of course, and this is him prescribing me, you know, to do something on a more natural approach, which tends to give me less anxiety, which is very mindful of him, which is very smart. So I get it. I'm grateful, and I'm going to start this. So I'm going to order it, and I'll let you guys know when I start, but I'll be taking 1,000 milligrams of curcumin twice a day, and I'm going to read the study like I said, and then we're going to get together on a weekly basis going forward. There's something I haven't told you guys about, something that's coming up for me later this month that will be very different, and I look forward to sharing it with you when I think the time is right. But that's just the outcome of this visit. So again, the main reason he didn't think it was bipolar 2 is because I didn't exhibit enough of the hypomanic symptoms that warrant that diagnosis as far as he could tell. So we're going to keep getting together, and we're going to see if we can build off of this visit. Perhaps things will change, but that is the update for right now. That is what my psychiatrist thinks on this topic. So I really want you guys to always know how much I appreciate your feedback, your insight, sharing your personal experience. A lot of you are sharing professional experience too, and that's amazing, and I'm so grateful you're here. And I'll continue to share what I learned about curcumin. I think I have actually heard of curcumin and may have been taking a low dose once, but I don't think I understood just how effective it can be. I think it has an anti-inflammatory effect as well, but I'm babbling. And I also think it's worth mentioning as I close this video out that today has been a more stable day, and yesterday was too, and this is probably so far 2 of the more stable days I've had in about a month and a half. And, you know, I do spend a decent amount of time expressing when I'm having a bad day. And I think it's also very important and necessary to let you guys know when I'm having a better day. Now, does it take more than a couple days to kind of shake you out of the fear of your bad days? Yes, but I still acknowledge them and I appreciate them, and it's worth mentioning. So that's all I got. Take good care. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this current situation, if you happen to have an opinion. Not to sound self-absorbed, a lot of your guys' feedback was part of what drove me in here to see a psychiatrist, you know, so I would love to know what you think based on the follow-up from that previous video. And otherwise, I just hope you're doing well, you're staying strong in your own fight. 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute at a time. We can get through whatever we're going through, and we can do it together. We need to always remain, team-oriented on this platform together. I know that I'm the focal point because it's my channel, but we are the focal point of this whole process of getting better. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.